Yeah, so why don't we take some of more questions from chat on prompter and some of the functionality here. Okay, so here's a question. Why did we make a prompter? During the pandemic, it became really, really evident as we were all kind of, remote at home, locked away, we weren't supposed to see each other, that, having that kind of connection while online is quite difficult. And one of the ways that it's most expressed is when everyone's just kind of looking down, right? We were all maybe in meetings or we were in a classroom, something like that, and we're just looking down, looking, at our display while everyone else was, seeing through the camera. And that creates a kind of like almost like an apersonal, right? It just doesn't feel great when you're talking with everyone else and no one's actually looking at you. No one's having a real conversation with you. That was one of the things that we thought about with Prompto is we can actually kind of bring that back by just letting you look at the camera while also having that, interaction and still, seeing the other person. The other part was reading Twitch chat, right? Or just really any chat for any live service, like I'm doing right here, right now. I can be live, I can present to you guys, I can talk to you guys, and I can see the chat at the same time. And so that just creates a much nicer, live environment. I can talk to you, the audience, and I'm talking really with you. I'm not kind of, again, oh, that's a really interesting question. All right, let me look back at the camera, and then, oh, that's really cool. And then, right, that's, it's not really great. And so this creates just a really nice flow. Can you add YouTube chat as well? Absolutely, you can add YouTube chat. So the way that works is you basically just set prompter to its display mode, and then from there you just pop out the YouTube chat and drag it over. YouTube chat isn't supported yet in Camera Hub, though that is something that we're looking at. We've launched right now with just Twitch, and we're going to be adding more chat services in the near future. How many different size rings come with prompter? There are 9 step-up rings. They range from what was it, 47 or 42 millimeter up to 80 something. Don't quote me on that. There we go. Elgato in chat has the answer. Those are the different sizes. So if you have a lens, just make sure that that it fits, that the lens size, that the threading fits with one of those step-up rings. Yeah, it's great for VTubing, exactly. If you have a lot of different programs, at least this way you can always just keep chat up on there. Or again, if you just want to throw different chats up onto prompter, you can do that as well. And you have multiple prompters? Yes, you can have multiple prompters. In fact, yeah, you can have multiple connected. They all just show up as different displays. So if you want to have, different camera angles that you're looking at, if you're on more of an actual production, if you have a set, if you're doing more of a professional shoot, then you can have multiple prompters. Yep. If I have a lens that isn't one of those rings, how would you solve that? You could probably, not from us, but there are probably other essentially step up or step down in that case rings that you can get. You basically might be able to tie those together. The ones that come with prompter are specifically for prompter, so you would almost need like an intermediate step up ring, right? So let's say you wanted to go from, I don't know, 30 millimeters, right, which prompter doesn't include, up to 42, which is the smallest one that prompter includes, then you might need something like 30 to 42. Does that exist out there? I'm not really sure though, but you might be able to find something out there. Is there a plan to roll out bigger prompters? We just launched prompter. We're gonna let this one, sit a little bit and see how that goes. We've heard the feedback about prompter. We were just at TwitchCon, and we did hear a lot of feedback about bigger prompter. So the max resolution of the display. So the display max resolution is going to be 1024 by 600. That's it. Yeah. There's a question about the display and how does that work? So the display works by simply connecting a USB cable to your computer. So there's a USB port on the back of prompter. You just plug in the USB cable that comes with prompter. You can also supply your own cable. The one that comes with prompter is a C to type A, or rather a type A to type C cable, and it's got that 90-degree bend on it. You can also use a type C to C cable if you want to. And then you just plug that into your computer. Now, if you're on Windows, prompter will be automatically detected as just another display, and you're good to go. You don't necessarily need to install Camera Hub. On Mac, you do need to install Camera Hub because Camera Hub also installs the driver that drives prompter and that enables you to use it. One really cool thing, though, about using prompter on Mac, especially specifically the M1 or basically the Apple Silicon Macs, is that those Macs, if you are using like a baseline M1, M2, M3, they only support one external display. Prompter does not count as that. So let's say you connect prompter, you can have, basically your laptop display, an HDMI display, and prompter, right? It doesn't count towards that like limit. I think if you're on the Pro or the Max chips, right, those can connect 2 displays. So then prompter could be a 3rd display to that. So again, for Mac, it's really nice because again, it doesn't count towards that display limit. That even works if you have like multiple prompters. If you have like 2 or 3, yeah, you can connect those all up to a Mac and those will just work just fine. So let's see, there was another question about the glass and how does that work, right? So this is beam splitting glass, and actually, I don't know if you can see it at the moment, but it'll actually look through. It'll actually look through. The camera looks through the glass here, and what you'll notice is that if I turn it around, it's actually reflecting back off of the front. So this is 70-30 beam splitting glass, and essentially what that means is that basically the light is reflected. There's like a certain reflectivity, right? It's not 100% reflected, but essentially light that hits the front coming up from the display is reflected off of the front of the prompter's glass. And so that's what I see, right? That's what you see, that's what I see. The light does not go in, and essentially the camera doesn't see it, right? And the camera's just looking through prompter and then sees you or sees whatever the camera's looking at. And so kind of that's how that works. It's a little bit like if you think about, if you've ever watched a TV show where there's a police interrogation, they have those one-way mirrors where, there's maybe a person in an interrogation room and someone's looking in from the outside. It's a little bit like that, just not as intense, right? In those, you really can't see anything at all. With prompter, you can see through just a little bit.